Meet the architect of Sahara Simulations. At 6 years old, the architect lived in the United Arab Emirates with his parents and sister. He attended an international school, with children from all corners of the world, learning together under one roof. One day, his teacher told the class that their pet mouse was to be set free, so that it could live the rest of its days outside of the cage. As the architect was very close to this mouse, and loved it dearly, the teacher asked him if he would do the honor. He accepted, and reached into the cage to pick up the mouse. As he left the classroom, another child called out to the teacher, "Can I go with him?" The teacher said okay, and the two left the classroom and started to walk towards the edge of the school grounds. The other child started saying strange and disturbing things. That the mouse would have a terrible life if they released it. That it would be eaten by a snake, and die in a slow and painful way. The architect was unable to handle this extreme toxic behavior from his classmate. He became very cold, and started to dissociate. The other boy dug a small hole in the ground, and took the mouse from the architect's hands, placing it into the hole. He picked up a cinder block and held it above the hole. Just before dropping the stone, he stopped, and turned to the architect. "No," he said. "If I do it, I'll be sent to boarding school again. You have to do it." The architect was frozen. It felt like this whole thing was wrong, but he was powerless to stop it. The boy was so powerful, scary, and sure of himself. The boy forced the stone into his hands and shoved him into position, holding the stone above the mouse. The architect knew that he wasn't going to hurt this wonderful creature. But then, the boy put his face right up against the architect's, and spoke with a darkness that made the architect tremble. "Do it now, or I'll murder your whole family, your cats, your neighbors. I'll kill everyone you ever loved." At that moment, the architect blacked out. When he came to, it was more than a day later. He had dissociated for so long, that it took him 20 years to remember this event, and what really happened. When he did, it was as a result of using the discipline of authenticity that he named Kimba, which you will learn if you continue to level 2 of this game. You see, the architect had been carrying the pain and shame from this event in his childhood. He had let this other boy control him, and scare him into doing the unthinkable. He had dropped the stone. Unable to face it, open up about it, or even feel it, he had gone through life with a dark shadow covering him, blocking him from trusting people, expressing himself, or standing up for what he believes in. After using Kimba to process this memory, he visualized seeing himself a small boy, holding the stone and crying while the other boy screamed in his ear. He imagined himself, now, as the adult, putting his arm around his child self and reassuring him. He took a deep breath, grabbed the stone, and threw it across the desert sand. He turned to the other boy, stared into his eyes, and said aloud and confident, "No." Performing this exercise was the single most transformative experience in the architect's life, and marked the beginning of his commitment and dedication to understand what happened, why Kimba worked, and how he can help others to have similar experiences with cleaning up and handling their baggage. No matter who you are, or where you come from, no matter how many mistakes you've made, or people you've let down, you can do this. You can reprogram yourself out of shame and into courage. The architect of Sahara Simulations is both the designer of this game experience, and the source of its content and challenges. He has spent a decade committed to the journey of authenticity, and has integrated all his discoveries into this program, for you to enjoy and learn from. And, if you are wondering who the architect is, so is he.